from a distance. And so Jewish tradition is that we recognize that funerals do what we need to do, which is to bury with dignity. But funerals are just as much for the living. They're for those who loved him and those he loved. They're for his family, they're for his friends. Most importantly, they're for the nearest and dearest. And so today we buried as we needed to. And yet this evening, we continue to accompany the family in this time of grief and of mourning. And so the tradition is to have a quorum. Well, we certainly have that this evening. And that in itself is a remarkable tribute. We have a brief evening service, a memorial service including a few of the Psalms, and then an opportunity to share a few memories. And so earlier today I asked those at the funeral to think of a memory. Think of Ron. Think of something which begins with, I remember when. And hold those thoughts. We begin this evening on page 63. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey. From childhood to maturity, youth to age. From innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing. From foolishness to discretion, and then perhaps to wisdom. From weakness to strength, or strength to weakness, and often back again. From health to sickness and back we pray to health again. From offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love. From joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding. From fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat. Until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey from birth to death to life everlasting. And so we rise on page 4 for the call to prayer. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. If you'll join with me on page 6 in the English. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and who arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign over us into eternity. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who brings on the evening. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha avta Amcha avta Torah u'mitzvot Ukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shormeinu Uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei toratecha Uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla Nege yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. At the top of page 13. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. If you'll join with me in the English on page 14. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from the oppressor's hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count, and give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all of Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously and singing this song. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora deilot hozef ele malchutecha, ra'u vanecha, bokeh yam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. ונאמר כי ברא אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. On page 19. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal One, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch Ata Adonai, Shomer Amo Yisrael La'ad. Blessed you, Eternal One, Guardian of Israel. We rise for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 20. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma dibra chirudei ve'amlich marutei, mechayechon u'yamechon u'chayid echol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'bizman gariv, ve'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, ve'alam ulal me'al maya yitbarach, יתברך וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי רגודשה בריחו לילה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו Amen. And so we find ourselves on page 22. This is the Amidah, the standing prayer, which historically was brought into play after the destruction of the temple and the destruction of the sacrificial tradition. And before that, in the biblical times, we had the Akedat Yitzchak, the sacrifice of Isaac, which was human sacrifice, and we replaced that with animal sacrifice. Today, instead, what we use is the prayers of our hearts, or the prayers of our prayer books. And so I'll begin by chanting the first three of the benedictions, as is our tradition, aloud, and then we continue in silence, whether using the words of the prayer book in English or in Hebrew, or if you prefer, simply the words of your own hearts. Feel free to be seated when you've concluded your personal prayer or meditation. We are on page 22. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות. ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיי, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך הקדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. On page 61. We are assembled with our friends in the dark shadow that has fallen on their family. We raise our voices together in prayer to the source of life, asking for comfort and for strength. We need light when gloom darkens our lives. To whom shall we look, if not to the Creator of light? We need strength and courage when pain and loss assail us. Where shall we find them, if not in the thought of the one who preserves all that is good from destruction? We are blessed if we have never yet passed through trials and bereavements. Some present here bear fresh wounds in their hearts, and therefore feel more keenly the kinship of sorrow. Others whose days of mourning are more remote still recall the comfort that sympathy brought to their sorrowing hearts. Our rational minds know that all things pass. Emotionally, though, it is so hard to accept that all that lives must die. All that we prize is but lent to us, and the time comes when we must surrender it. We are all travelers on the same road, which ultimately leads to the same end. If you'll join with me on page 64 in the English of the 23rd Psalm. A psalm of David. With God as my shepherd I shall not want. You make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside still waters. You restore my soul. You set me in circles of righteousness for the sake of your name. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and staff, they comfort me. You spread a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever.
Ose shamayim va'aretz Al yiten lamot raglecha Al yanum shomerecha Inne lo yanum velo yishan Inne lo yanum velo yishan Shomer Israel Adonai shomerecha Adonai tilecha Al yad yeminecha Al yad yeminecha Yom HaShemesh lo yakeka Vayareach balayla Adonai yishmorecha mikol ra Yishmor et nafshecha Adonai yishmor et zetecha
On page 67, this poem was written by Zelda, a famous Israeli poet. Lechol ish yeshem shenatan lo, Elohim v'natnu lo aviv ve'imo. Each person has a name. We each have a name given by God and one given by our father and our mother. We each have a name given by our stature and smile and one given by our attire. We each have a name given by the hills and given by the walls. We each have a name given by the stars and given by our friends. We each have a name given by our sins and one given by our yearnings. We each have a name given by our enemies and given by love. We each have a name given by our celebrations and given by our work. We each have a name given by the seasons and given by our blindness. We each have a name given by the sea and ultimately one given by our death. And so we rise on page 68 for the memorial prayer.
El male rachamim shochen bamromim Hamzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashechina Im kedoshim utorim kezohar harakia mazirim et nishmat
Ronald Morrislow, Moshe Aaron, Ben Shlomo Zalman.
Shalach leolamo Baal harachamim yastireu bezeder genavav leolamim veitror bitror hachayim et nishmato Adonai hu nachalato ve'anuach beshalom al mishkavo ve'nomar
Fully compassionate God on high, to our loved one, to Ron, who has entered eternity, grant clear and certain rest with you in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold him in the embrace of your wings. Secure his soul in eternity. O God, he is yours. May he rest in peace, and we say, Amen. Our concluding prayers begin on page 72.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצא הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We turn to page 84 for the mourner's Kaddish. This Kaddish is in Aramaic, the vernacular of the time. And the words of the Kaddish are a traditional way of grieving. Does not speak of Ron, of death, of dying, or any of the sadness that we experience. Rather, it simply extols God's praise and recognizes God's presence, even and perhaps especially at a time of grief, of sadness, and of loss. And so I'll invite the family to come together and share in the words of the mourner's Kaddish on page 84. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דברה חירותי ומלכיך מלכותי, וחייכון וביומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel and to all of humanity. And we say amen. Please be seated. And so I invited you all to think of a memory earlier, something which might begin with, I remember when. Perhaps let me share one that was sent by George and Kathy. To Fran, dearest Fran, we have all lost a very special man, and our hearts go out to you. You were both so brave through the course of this awful illness. We can't imagine how devastated you are feeling. Ron has been such a wonderful husband as well as a father and a Zayda. He has been a friend we have loved dearly. He was warm, kind, and highly intelligent. We always loved the way he was so interested in the world, so knowledgeable and thoughtful about things, and how he had such a lovely sense of humor. We feel devastated to have lost such a wonderful friend. Ron and George had many good years sharing squash games and more recently golf. Many beautiful words will be spoken about Ron, and all of them will be heartfelt. He was loved and appreciated by a lot of people. We certainly feel blessed that we had him as a close friend. May Ron's memory be for a blessing. George and Kathy. Yet perhaps who better to speak of Ron than those who knew him the best and loved him the most? And so his family have a few words to share.
Our father, Ronald Lowe, was born on 18 June 1939 in Carlton, Australia, to Zygmunt and Xenia, who had emigrated from Poland before the war. Dad's early life saw him grow up in Amos Street, Carlton, with loving parents and close brothers and sisters, Sylvia, Norma and John. Legend has it that Ron did remove one of John's teeth in an unorthodox, non-dental approved manner. Growing up in Carlton, he fell in love with the Carlton Football Club. He loved watching his beloved Blues play nearby at Princess Park. He was very proud to be a founding member of the VFL and kept his first membership nomination form from 1966 as one of his prized possessions. Dad graduated into a career that he excelled at, pharmacy. With Dad's warm and caring attitude, it is easy to understand how he built his own pharmacy businesses, first in Doncaster and then in Footscray, where he had strong, long-lasting relationships with his clientele. He was loved and a trusted pharmacist. He knew all of his customers and was always happy to listen to them. Many customers would just pop in for a chat, even if they had no prescription to fill. He took pride that in the annually published Most Trusted Profession survey, pharmacists were always at the top of the list. The caring and warm personality never changed and was probably on display when he first met Mum in 1965. Since that time, Mum and Dad not only had two wonderful children, Karen and I, but also 5 fantastic grandsons, Benji, Jeremy, Toby, Samuel and Elliot, to whom they have instilled a value system of which he can be proud. His warm personality and respectful humour was always strong, which drew in a large group of close friends, many of whom are here today. Family and friends were Dad's #1 priority. Whenever he saw his family, his eyes would light up and make them feel that his attention was just for them. He would do anything for them and us. There are many examples, and I have a few. Mum allowed Karen, age 6, to buy and wear a Collingwood football jumper. This must have been a very difficult time for Dad, but as testament to him, with a smile and with great skill, he was able to convert Karen back to Carlton before the year was out. There was also a later time when I too wanted to change teams. But Dad, by then a lot wiser, cleverly said, "Sure, but you will only ever see Carlton games." I was sold back within about 20 seconds. When my family moved back from Sydney to Melbourne many years ago, Dad flew to Sydney just to drive back with me so that we could have a father-son road trip. It was very, very special. Samuel and Elliot recalled fondly last night how their Zeta would play board games, sport and cricket in the back garden, and he relished seeing all of the animated and children's movies with boys and taking them to the park, and would be the only grandparent who would allow them to have lunch and then go into the spinning egg, even straight after lunch. Benji, Jeremy and Toby recall that Zeta was immensely proud of them and was always interested to talk to them about anything. He loved listening to Benji sing and tell jokes, to Jeremy play clarinet and have chats about current affairs, and Toby talk about his progress in his favourite computer games, Minecraft or Roblox.
As most of you know, Mum and Dad love family holidays and love to travel. It started with family holidays camping at Wilson's Prom and the annual summer holiday at Panmure River. Our annual September holiday was a 2-day driving trip up to Burleigh Heads. On the beach holidays, Jason and I loved that Dad would always come and jump the waves with us for hours. We always assumed he was a strong swimmer, but years later he confessed he'd never had swimming lessons and actually wasn't confident in the water at all. But that never stopped him doing what his kids loved. Later, Mum and Dad would regularly travel overseas for 8 weeks during June and July, and were very adventurous by plane, train, automobile, ships and even rafts down the Amazon. But they especially loved Switzerland and enjoyed hiking around the mountains and the countryside. There were also recent overseas family holidays, including travelling with my family to Israel for Benji's bar mitzvah and Jason's family to New York. They had a final holiday to Switzerland and Italy in June this year, and it was after this holiday that Dad started noticing a few physical changes related to his cancer. During his treatment, he was always happy and cheerful, positive and hopeful. He was especially happy that he didn't lose his hair. A few days ago in hospital, I reminded Dad of an anecdote he told Jeremy for his recent Roots project. It was a story he'd often enjoyed telling his grandsons, and at the time, just a few days ago, it made Dad smile and chuckle out loud. This is his memory. When I, Ron, was in Year 7, I used to go to Hebrew school every day after school. These classes would go from 4 to 6 p.m. on Monday to Thursday. Then we had to daven for a while. We would walk from school to Tamo, or Tamatoira, and buy a bread roll at Powell's Bakery on the way to eat secretly under our desks. On Wednesdays at the same time, my school football team also trained, so I used to sneak to training, which meant I'd miss Wednesday Hebrew class. The rabbi discovered this and called in my mother and gave me an ultimatum. It was either Hebrew school every day or footy training. I couldn't believe my luck. Naturally, I chose footy training, so that was the end of my Hebrew schooling. I was expecting my mother to insist on Talmud Torah, but instead she reluctantly supported me with choosing my footy training. Dad was a humble man who was uncomfortable being the centre of attention. He certainly would not be comfortable with the crowd today. He preferred to sit or stand off to the side and observe others. However, this should not be mistaken for disinterest. He was insightful and always took an interest in what was going on. If asked, he always had an informed opinion, but was always open to what others had to say as well. Dad spent a lifetime working hard. He did not expect the world to come to him. He was prepared to have a go, whether professionally as a pharmacist, son, brother, father or grandfather. He was devoted to his family and was always available to them, whether it was someone to listen and give advice or support when needed. Dad led by example. He was patient, kind-hearted and generous. He was a giver, not a taker. He accommodated the needs of others. However, on the rare occasion when he had a firm view, he could be as strong as steel. This made his general easygoing nature all the more impressive. We can all learn the value of patience, care and generosity from Ron. He's left the world a better place than the one he was born into.
Jeremy also prepared a few words to share with us today.
The passing of my Zeta comes with much sadness for so many people. I personally don't know all of you, but it just shows how big an impact this wonderful man has left on so many people. My cousins Sam and Elliot, brothers Benji and Toby, and I can all warmly remember him on Shabbats at his house, leading the prayers for wine and challah, talking to us about our weeks and asking us if we'd like to sing any more Shabbat songs. He was always interested in us and how we were doing. No matter how small the significance to us, it always meant a lot to him. A personal memory that I have with him is him telling me fondly about his school days and stories that he thought were hilarious. His humour and heartfelt chuckle always brightened my day, and I assume it did with all of you. He would also recount his travels with his family, would tell me of the adventures he's had. When he came back from an overseas trip with my nana, he'd always be more than happy to talk to me about the postcards he'd sent a week or two earlier, which had only arrived after they had come home. He'd tell me about the food he tried, if he liked it or not, and if he thought I would like it, showing the considerate nature towards his family. Additionally, when I was younger and went over to my grandparents' house, whether it be after school, Shabbat, or they were just babysitting, I would always play dominoes with him. He was the master, but still gave me the satisfaction of winning. He taught me everything he knew. As my little chubby hands grew, so did our strategies, until the fabled day when I won and he was actually trying. I cherish those memories of lying down on the woolen carpet in the lounge room, looking at my dominoes, looking at him studying his, and then thinking which piece I should play. My Zeta was a great man. He was wise, patient, caring, and compassionate, which are all qualities we can all learn from him. He will be well and truly missed by everyone that knew him, but his legacy will go on forever through his children, grandchildren, and onwards.
Earlier today I read a poem that I thought was so very apropos to Ron. I'd like to share it with you one more time. It's by David Harkins, and it's called He Is Gone. And he wrote, "You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left behind. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or your heart can be full of the love which you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what Ron would have wanted. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on." And so as we conclude this evening's ceremony, our tradition is that we do not ask the family, "How are you?" because what can they possibly say? Instead, our tradition is to wish them long life, or that we should meet with simchas, basmachot, in times of joy rather than in times of sadness. Or the old saying, "May you live till 120, which was the length of the life of Moses, bis 120 in Yiddish, or ad 120 in in Hebrew. We've changed one letter and instead we say Ad Mea Ke'esrim, or bis 120, which means may you live till 100 as if you were 20. And I think Ron would much have preferred that and lived accordingly. And so in just a moment, I'm going to invite the family to precede us into the foyer. And I'll ask you all to stay where you are for a moment so that they can actually reach the foyer before we do. And as we leave, take a moment to share not the question, how are you, but just one memory, one anecdote, something which might begin with, I remember when. There is truly nothing that is more heartwarming or meaningful than those memories. So I'll invite the family to precede us into the foyer at this time. And so I wish you all long life, and truly that we should meet of simchas in times of joy rather than in times of sadness.